Hello, welcome to the Weber Dojo. Today we're going to work on Jiyu Kumite, one attack sparring. This is for our brown belt level, which is the beginner of the advanced level. We also have created an Ippon Kumite video. You may want to watch that to help supplement this training. Make sure that if you have not warmed up that you do that now. I will work on the offensive techniques.
And then I'll take over and work on the defensive techniques. Then we'll do some side-by-side drills so that you can get a different perspective, and then we'll do a virtual training with you.
Okay, so we're going to work on the offensive portion of semi-free sparring. So mainly what changes with semi-free versus one step is that you start from kamae, from free sparring stance. So I think that what this affects is your distance, and that will also affect your timing. So I think that footwork is really important. If you notice at the beginning of a lot of classes, we will do some footwork drills where we'll bounce and we'll bounce back and forth. We'll move our feet forward and move our feet back. So make sure that you're doing those kind of drills on your own to get your footwork a little bit better, because that's going to be the difference between actually making it to your target and not. Because again, distance is a really important part. So one way of stepping, of course, is stepping all the way forward. Another way that you can create or close the distance is by moving one foot up halfway and then the other foot to finish the step. So this is sugiashi. So you would bring this one up and then step. So a common thing for attackers to do is once they think they're about close, is they're going to do this step, then they may finish with their actual attack. So make sure that when you attack your target, it's just like 3-step, just like 1-step. The attack has to come from the backside technique. So in today's practice, we're going to attack with the right side. So I always need to make sure that my back foot steps forward and comes with the technique forward to the front. So you don't want to be counter-attacking this way. And then when you make a kick, you want to make sure that you're going to make your kick and then follow through and step forward. For today, we're going to do the 4 basic attacks for semi-free, which is Oizuki Jodan, Oizuki Chudan, Maigari Chudan, and Kokomi Chudan. So we're going to practice those. Again, let's work on our feet. One thing you want to do is, the goal is to close the distance. So you'll see people move their back foot this way. That's really unsafe to do, because when you're moving this way, this puts you in a really vulnerable, uncomfortable position. You're not very stable. So if you're going to move, if the person is moving, they really shouldn't be moving. The defense side shouldn't be moving, except for as a reaction for the offense. So you should really try to control them. So you want to move your front foot, then move your back foot. Move your front foot in direction, then move your back foot. So for here, what I want you to do is you're going to mirror what I'm doing. So if you can face me, I'm going to be in my kamae position. If I move forward, you move back. If I move backwards, you can follow me. If I move to the angle, then I want you to move the opposite direction and then move back. So my goal is to get my front foot in between your feet this way. That would be the perfect angle if I could reach it. So that's why you'll see people doing this. But it's more important for you to move towards them and then back, okay? Another tip for your footwork is, let's see, I want you to find a spot on the floor for your front foot, and I want you to make sure that you can tell where you are. So when you're here, if I'm doing this, I'm not making offense, I'm not making an advantage, I'm not going forward or backwards. So if I'm here, even if I'm just doing this, I can move forward a little bit and then I can advance towards my opponent. If you're not bouncing, you would do it this way. Or some people will even just move their front foot. So there's many ways to try to close the distance, to try to get your attacker and try to catch them off guard. There is an advantage on defense for basic sparring, because you're announcing your target every single time, so they know where you're attacking and with which part of your body. So it's always going to be my right hand. my right leg attacking. So we have to do our best on the offensive side to try to give us any advantage we can. All right, so move around a little bit. We'll practice a couple. Announce Oizuki Jodan. And then when I say go, I want you to attack. Go! Up! And then reset. Now, once you get into your position here, you need to make sure that you hold this position. It's basic. Make sure that you're not hitting and coming back off this way. Okay, that's free sparring. This is semi-free sparring. So let's do the next one. I'm going to face this way, sideways, so you can see. So do the same thing. You're going to announce Oizuki Chudan. Ready? Go. Up. So I stay in a basic position. They block and counter. Then I step back, reset. Make sure that on your reset, it's just as quick as your attack. From here, don't stand up, get relaxed, and then come back. It should be part of your training. All right, next one. Maigari. Go! Hey! Last one, Kokomi. Make sure that on your side thrust kick, after you make your kick, you want to try to fight to get your position back into a front stance. You don't want your partner to block the attack, so chances are they're going to actually hit your leg. They're going to be pushing your leg away from your body and going to be pushing you off balance. So you want to make sure that you stay on your support leg. Make sure it's bent. That also leads to, if you're reaching this way and you straighten out this leg to try to reach the target because you didn't choose the right distance, now you've lost the drive to get your body in the correct position. So if I'm way out here, I have no other choice but to fall forward, not in the best position. So this is where choosing your distance with your footwork is more important. So here, you want to make sure that if I reached my hand out, I might be able to touch their hand if their hand was out, if that's easier for you to think of. You can also think without looking, maybe, let's say this is their foot, right up in this area. If I can step on their front foot when I step in, then I might have a better chance of trying to actually score with my technique. So a lot of people think that happens back here and that they're going to be able to hit their target, but that's usually not true. So make sure that you're within one step of them when you attack. Remember, they get to move too. So you sometimes have to go a little bit further than you normally would to make up the gap of them moving. Okay, so continue moving around. This time, Kokomi, announce Kokomi. Go! Hey! And back. All right, so now, just for a little bit, I want you to work on some footwork drills. All right, so from here, bounce, forward and back. You don't have to spar like this. More conditioning, but it does help the coordination of your feet. Okay, so now, push, step, step. Push, push, this steps, then this steps. Push, step, step. Okay, so when you're moving forward, push, step, step. Push, step, step. Okay, so it'll happen that way. You can do it much slower. Push, step, step. And then when you're moving in directions, you want to make sure that you're keeping you're always in a positive, most beneficial position for yourself. All right, let's attack one more time. For this one, let's switch our legs, just because I feel like we've been on the left side forward for a while. So move around, announce Oizuki Jodan. Go! Up! And reset. Move around. Announce Oizuki Chudan. Go! Up! reset. My Gary, don't stand still for too long. Go! Reset. Last one, Kokomi. Go! Ah! And reset. Okay, one more tip on as far as the feet. Here, your freestyle stance is really up to you. I know we've gone over this in the dojo, but you make a front stance, pull your foot back a little bit. Start off, if you're just starting this, put your weight in the middle. Don't come up, stay down. Your heels are light on the ground, but your weight mainly feels like it's on the balls of your feet. Okay, relax, bow.
So now we'll work the defense portion of semi-free. Again, as Sensei Kim just mentioned, you really want to have a good stable stance. So starting with our foundation, whether you start off in a front stance, bring your front foot back about a foot length, and then bend both of your knees. So you've got a little more flexibility because we're looking at getting more advanced here, because semi-free, you're starting off as if you're doing free sparring, but then you end up basic as if you were doing one step. So our stance, you have a little flexibility as far as where you position your weight. Some people like to be 50-50, others like to have a little more forward, others might even fight somewhat from a back stance position, giving the illusion that you're a little further away. But regardless, you want to have a good stable stance on the balls of the feet more than the heels, so that you're not caught flat-footed, because you have to react from the offensive person who's attacking. Your hand position for freestyle, I use the analogy of like holding a baby, but remember, it's not a pretty baby, it's an ugly baby. So you want to kind of hold it away. Make your fists, think that you're right, if we're have our right side back, your right elbow is close to your right hip, but always facing straight to your opponent, right? Your left side is going to be the same, all right? It's going to be basically able to shoot right out towards the face, make a block if necessary, but this is going to be your countering side, all right? So as we're moving around, you don't want to be caught flat-footed again. So if the offensive person is circling, if they're coming this direction, I want to start off with my back foot and then adjust my front foot. If they continue to circle, move my back foot, adjust with the front foot. If they're going to go the opposite direction, I want to adjust or move my front foot and then adjust my back foot, so that I have a decent stance still, but moving in the direction that my opponent is trying to take me in. Also, I want to make sure that me personally, I don't like to necessarily maintain a sparring distance with my opponent, because then it's going to take them forever to be able to send the attack in. So I like to stand my ground a little bit more, make them come to me. Again, if they're going to circle, I'm going to adjust as need be, but never get your feet crossed up underneath of you. Never cross over, because if you're in a free sparring position, even sometimes in semi-free, if they're skilled, they're going to attack right when you're crossed over, and then you're kind of up the river without a paddle. So make sure that your stance is decent. Then react. As soon as they step in, you need to react quickly, all right? Throw in the block, throwing the counter as quickly as you can, okay? So reducing the reaction time between that block and counter, and do that in one breath if you're able to. So make sure as they attack, one breath, hold it for a split second, because again, this is supposed to be basic, then you can come back to Kamae, all right? So as they're attacking face, all right, you're going to shift again to the side. If they're moving around, move around. As they attack, block, counter, and then back to Kamae, and then re-engage, okay? Then they're going to attack Chudan. Again, as they come through, pay attention to your distance. You have to be able to touch the gi with your countering technique, whether it's a punch or a kick. So as they're moving around, they're going to throw that second technique, the punch, block, throw your kick, and then re-engage. Right? Then they're going to throw the maigari. Right? So they're going to be coming through, so you need to make sure that you're paying attention because they're going to be getting some momentum behind this as they move forward. So throw that block, maybe step off to the side a little bit, understanding where they're going to be, and then throw your counter technique. Okay, so quickly it's going to be right at your target. All right, then when they throw keikomi, again, you have to understand how the kick is coming through. I want to catch the back side of the kick coming through and then throwing my technique. Okay, so again, as they come forward with Jodan, let me show it from the back side this time. So Jodan's attacking, we're moving around. Hey! Right, Chudan's attacking, we're moving around. Right, then maigari. Okay, call me.
Okay, so now we're going to work the semi-free sparring side by side. One thing that's important to point out now that there's two of us is to talk about the distance, the social distancing. So when you have a partner, when you start off the Jiyu Kumite, you should not start from this position. This is way too close. This is more of attacking distance. As I mentioned, when he holds his hand out, I can already touch his hand. So I need to be further away, and I need to work my footwork to close the distance here somehow to get close enough to launch my attack. All right, so make sure that this is the part that's difficult to practice without a partner. So maybe you can use a line on the floor, maybe you can use a wall, something like that. Okay, so now let's practice side by side. You will follow Sensei Weber on defense. I will count everybody through it. All right, so Oizuki Jodan.
Right, Jodan.
Ready? Go! Oizuki Chudan.
Right, Jodan.
Ready? Go! Maigari, Chudan.
Right, maigari.
Ready? Go! Kokomi Chudan.
Right, keikomi.
Ready? Go!
Okay, the next part of this training is going to be a virtual semi-free sparring drill against myself and Jiyu. Sensei Kim will coach us through this.
Okay, be sure when you're practicing this drill with Sensei Weber that you work on the transition from your mobile stance, which is a semi-free stance, and transition into a basic fundamental stance, which is a basic stance correct form. All right, thank you. Right? Okay, Sensei Weber will attack first. Both people get your left side forward. Kumite. Okay, so all attacks are going to be with the right side. All right, announce Oizuki Jodan.
Right, Jodan Oizuki.
Okay, follow my count. Go! Reset. Oizuki Chudan.
Right, Chudan Oizuki.
Go! Okay, reset. Maigari Chudan.
Right, my Gary.
Go! Okay, reset. Kokomi Chudan.
Right, kick on it.
Go! Okay, reset. Okay, now you're going to be the attacker. Sensei Weber will be the defender. Make sure your left side is forward. All your attacks will happen with your right side. Announce Oizuki Jodan.
Right, Jodan.
Go! Okay, reset. Oizuki Chudan.
Right, Chudan.
Go! Reset. Maigari Chudan.
Right, my Gary.
Go! Reset. Kokomi Chudan.
Right, kick on
Go! Okay, reset. And Yame. Bow. And relax. Okay, this concludes our training today on Jiyu Kumite. Make sure that on offense that you're working your footwork, that's very important, and distance. Distance is difficult without a partner. So as I mentioned before, use something, put something down and aim to get to that target.
On the defensive side, again, distance, it's key. You don't want to throw a block and shift so far out of the way that your counterattack isn't going to be even close to your opponent. So make sure that you're blocking and shifting just far enough to make sure that your distance is right on, as well as your target. Make sure that you are right on target with all of your techniques. So make sure you're still training at home, and we hope to see all of you in the dojo real soon.